I'm going to try to make this short, but the SHRM conference wrapped last night and I have some tea. So Joe Biden spoke last night. I don't have any tea on that right now. So if you have it and you want to give it to me. But Jason Sudeikis spoke. He actually showed up. And if you remember the drama, go back and watch my videos. But anyway, apparently the first 10 or 15 minutes of his speech, he just fucking ripped apart SHRM. Supposedly he had told SHRM about a week before the conference last year that he was unable to attend, and SHRM chose to announce it like an hour or two before he was supposed to take the stage, supposedly. Take that with a grain of salt, because remember, this is the same man that served his wife custody papers while she was on stage giving a presentation, so he seems like a class act. Johnny C. Taylor's speech. Okay, first, Regina Bell came out, which I didn't know who she was. She's apparently an 80s singer. I had to Google her. And she sang Rise Up and apparently was insanely moving. Great. No notes. But then Johnny comes out. And he goes off script. He's like, turn the teleprompter off. I gotta tell this story. So he tells this story, which sounds made up, about how he was in an Uber. And the Uber driver forgot she had an interview and asked him to drive the car so she could do the interview, and he did it. Okay. I hope she got the job. But the most cringy part, there's a fucking bald eagle flying around like the ballroom while he's giving a speech. I can't. I'm covering up this man's face. I guess it's the handler, but the bird's name was Lincoln. I guess Freedom was booked for the day. I guess that Johnny said there was a private conference room that you could actually go and take pictures with Lincoln. Johnny had a private conference room. Sadly, ladies, Shamar Moore was not at Paycom's booth. Last year, he was getting felt on and all rubbed up. Which, hey, ladies, I don't blame you. He's a good-looking dude. This year, they had Toby. When will these companies understand that we don't want this shit? But my final thing was about the lunches. Apparently the lunches were a huge debacle. They ran out of food. Some box lunches didn't have sandwiches, just chips and a cookie. But look, if I'm paying over $2,000 to attend a conference and y'all can't even feed me. Also, this is not the first time in SHRM conference history this has happened. This has happened several years. So like, what's wrong? You're getting numbers of people that confirmed. Why is this hard? And look, I've been to a lot of conferences lately, especially with HR Besties, but they have hot food lines and like pretty good food. The only day you ever get a box lunch is the very last day when it's like half a conference and they're shipping you off to the airport. And look, I had a couple people in my DMs be like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. It would be a big deal to me. I'm sorry. Especially because of the other conferences I've been to and seen how well organized it is and food's not running out and I'm getting served hot food. And well, that's all the tea I got. If you feel compelled and you want to drop a comment because you were there, feel free. And, you know, one thing people always ask is, if not SHRM, who? There's so many other organizations. I'll kind of run through some of my suggestions because people always ask, okay, if not SHRM, who else? Well, there's actually a lot of others. My top one would be HRCI. They are those that run the PHR before SHRM even had a certification program. Highly suggest. Troop HR is a really good one. Tell them I recommended you if you need a name. I like it because you can literally just go in there and not be judged to ask a question because you just generally don't know, because there's HR professionals all across the United States. I also like Think HR or Mammoth HR. That's always been super helpful for me. They're law alerts. I like setting them up, and depending on what states maybe your company's in, or if you're all across the United States, those are just 3 of my top personal ones, but there's so many out there. And just do some research. I promise you, SHRM is not the end all be all. And frankly, a lot of their stuff is outdated on their website. So like their templates and whatnot. And frankly, they're a money hungry organization. And there are other resources out there for you. And listen to the HR Besties pod.